Hello everyone, and welcome to this video on the Python programming language and machine learning. So in this video I will attempt to predict if a cryptocurrency's price will go up or down. Now before we begin, if you like the videos on this channel, then be sure to click that subscribe and like button, and to be notified about new videos from this channel, hit that bell notification. The material in this video is purely educational and should not be taken as professional investment advice, as I am no financial advisor, so please do your own research before making any type of investment. Okay, so I'm currently on Google's website called colab.research.google.com, and I'm on it because it makes it easy to start programming in Python. So all you have to do is go to this website and then log in using your Google account and get started writing your Python code. So let's start writing this code by clicking on File, then click on New Notebook, and a new tab opens up for you, and then eventually a new cell. Now usually I will put in a description about the program, but I'm going to skip that step for now, and I'm just going to import the libraries that I know I'm going to use throughout this program. So I'm going to import NumPy as NP, and I'm going to import pandas as PD, and then from sklearn.model underscore selection, I'm going to import train underscore test underscore split, and then I'm going to run this cell by clicking this button here to the left, and this will let me know if I made any mistakes. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about this program and the idea behind this program. So the idea here is to create a model, a machine learning model, that takes in some indicators that we're going to create in this program, and through those indicators it's going to determine if the price of a cryptocurrency such as Bitcoin, which we're going to load the Bitcoin data set here, if that price will go up or if it will go down. All right, so let's continue with the program. So let's create a new cell by clicking that code button in the top left, and now let's load the data. So from google.colab, I'm going to import files, and then I'm going to type files.upload to upload the file. So let's go ahead and run this, and let's click on choose files, and let's open that btc underscore data.csv file. Okay, so now I have that file uploaded. So let's create a new cell and let's read in that file. All right, so I'm going to create a variable called df and set it equal to pd.read underscore csv, and then I'm going to input the name of that file, which is btc underscore data.csv, and let's go ahead and run this, and then let's create a new cell and show the data. All right, so just type df here and let's run this. Okay, so now we can see that we have 99 rows of data and 7 columns, and those 7 columns are date, open price, high price, low price, close price, adjusted close price, and the volume. And the dates are from 3/25/2021 to 7/2/2021. All right, so let's go ahead and create a new cell. And again, that data set is for Bitcoin. All right, so in this cell, I'm going to create the exponential moving average indicator. All right, or maybe I should put create a function to calculate the exponential moving average indicator, or EMA for short. Okay, so this will give us more importance to recent price data. This indicator will. All right, so let's go ahead and create that function. Let's call it EMA. It's going to take in some data. It's going to take in some time period. I'm going to default it to be, let's default it to 20, and I'm going to default the column to be the close price column, and then it's going to return the data at that column dot EWM, and I'm going to give the span, well, I'm going to set it equal to period. So span will be equal to period, and adjust will be equal to false, and then I want the average or the mean, so I'm gonna put dot mean here, and that should do it. So let's go ahead and run this cell. Excellent. Let's create a new one, and now let's create a function to calculate the relative strength index, or RSI for short. Okay, so this will help us to measure how quickly people are bidding the price of Bitcoin up or down. All right, so let's call this function RSI, and it's going to take in some data. It's going to take in some period of time. We're going to default it to 14, and it's going to take in some column, which we're going to use the same column, the close price column. All right, next I'm going to create a variable called delta, and I'm going to set it equal to data column dot diff, and then input 1. So the diff function is used to find the discrete difference over the column access with period value equal to 1 here in this case. All right, next I'm going to remove any NA values from delta. So I'm going to set delta equal to delta dot drop in A, and then I'm going to make a copy of delta. So I'm going to create a variable called up and set it equal to delta dot copy, and I'm going to copy it one more time. I'm going to create a variable called down and set it equal to delta dot copy as well. Okay, now for all the values in up, where up is less than 0, I want to set all of them equal to 0. And then for all the values in down, where down is greater than 0, I want to set those values equal to 0. All right, next let's add up and down to our data set. So I'm going to create a column called up here, and I'm going to set it equal to up. And then I'm going to create a column called down in our data set and set it equal to down. Okay, so now with this data, I can calculate the average gain. So I'm going to set this equal to, and this I'm going to use an EMA. Usually I use an SMA, a simple moving average, but I'm going to use the exponential moving average that we have here to calculate the average gain. So I'm going to set it equal to our EMA function. It's going to take in the data, and it's going to take in a time period, and then the column that we're going to use will be up. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing, well, almost the same thing, to calculate the average loss. So I'm going to set this equal to, I'm just going to highlight this and copy using Control C, then come here and paste it using Control V. And instead of the up column, I'm going to use the down column. And then I want to get the absolute value of this. So I'm going to surround this by abs. Okay. All right, so now with the average gain and the average loss calculated, we can get the relative strength, or RS for short. So I'm going to set RS equal to average underscore gain divided by average underscore loss. Okay, and now that we have the RS, or the relative strength, we can calculate the RSI, or relative strength index. So let's set RSI equal to 100.0 minus 100.0 divided by 1.0 divided by 1.0 plus RS. Okay, so let's create a column in our data set now to store the RSI. So I'm going to call this RSI, and then I'm going to append to it the period as a string. So I'm going to put stir here and then put in the period. Okay, so I'm going to set this equal to RSI to store that value. RSI, there we go. All right, and next I'm going to return the data. So let's go ahead and run this. I'm hoping I didn't make any mistakes there. Let's create a new cell. All right, so now in this cell, I'm going to add the indicators to the data set. So just type RSI and then put in the data set DF and give it a time period of 7. Let's just highlight this and copy it using Control C and paste it 2 more times. All right, and let's change the time period for the other 2. So I'm gonna make this 14 and I'll make this 20. And then let's create columns for the EMA. All right, so I'm gonna do EMA. I'm gonna put in the time period here as well for the name, so that way I know that it's, EMA with time period 15. And I'm gonna set this equal to EMA DF and then input the time period of 15. Okay, so let's just highlight this, copy using Control C, and then paste it 2 more times using Control V. And let's give this some more time periods, like 20 and 50. All right, so I'm going to do 20 here. I'm going to do 50 here. Okay, so I think that looks good. Let's go ahead and show the data. So just type df and let's run this. And let's scroll on over and let's look at our data set. So we can see the column up, we can see the column down, RS7 or RSI 7, RSI 14, RSI 20, EMA 15, EMA 20, and EMA 50. So that's great. Let's create a new cell. Okay, so now in this cell, I want to create the target column. And I'm going to do this to determine if tomorrow's price will be greater than today's price. All right. So yeah, let me see here. If I put if tomorrow's price will be greater than today's price, so then put 1, else put 0. All right. Yeah, so we're going to create the target column to determine if tomorrow's price will be greater than today's price. And I'm going to put if it is, then put 1, else I'm going to put 0. All right, so I think that's good. Let's create that column called target. And let's set it equal to np dot where df close price shift -1. So that's tomorrow's price. If it's greater than df close, that's today's price, then I'm going to put 1, else I'm going to put 0. All right, and let me just escape out of that. All right, so let's go ahead and run this. Let's create a new cell. Let's show the data. So I'm going to type df here, and let's scroll on over, and now we can see target, and let's just do some spot checking here. So we can see that the target value here is 1. So this tells me that for this row here, tomorrow's close price, the row here's close price will be greater than the close price in this row. So let's scroll on over. Okay, and let's look at the column close price for that row. And we can see that today's close price is less than tomorrow's close price. So that's why we have that value there. And again, we wanted to put a 1 if tomorrow's price was greater than today's. So indeed, tomorrow's price is greater than today's price. So let's scroll on over and let's double check, make sure that that was a 1 again, and it is. And then let's look at this 0 here. So that means that tomorrow's close price should be less than or equal to today's close price. All right, and we can see for this row, tomorrow's price is indeed less than today's price. Okay, so it seems to be good. Let's go ahead and create a new cell. Okay, so now in this cell, I want to remove the first row of data. Okay, so I'm going to set df equal to df1 to everything else. And I think that that'll do it. And then I want to show the data. So I'm going to type df. So let's run this. All right, and yeah, now the data looks a lot better. Okay, so let's create a new cell. And I want to split the data set into a feature or independent data set, which I'm going to call X, and a target or dependent data set that I'm going to call Y. But before I do that, I need to get a list of columns that I want to keep. So get a list of columns to keep. So I'm going to create a variable called keep underscore columns. I'm going to set it equal to df.drop. Okay, so I'm going to put in all the columns that I want to drop from our data set. So I want to drop the date column. I want to drop the high price column, the low price column, the open price, the volume. I'm going to scroll down a little bit here. Okay, and then the adjusted close price, and up and down and target, and actually close as well. I'm going to drop the close price. Okay, so I want a list of columns, so I'm going to put dot columns here, and I think that looks good. So now with this list I can create the X data set. So I'm going to set X equal to df keep underscore columns dot values, and I can create my Y data set. So I just set that equal to the target column dot values, and there we go. Let's go ahead and run this. Okay, so it looks like I made a mistake. Of course. So it's telling me that I need to tell this method here that I want to remove this data from the columns. So I need to set axis equal to 1. So let's go ahead and run this again. Okay, so there we go. Now let's create a new cell. And now in this cell, I'm going to split the data into 80% training and 20% testing data sets. So I'm going to create a few variables here. I'm going to create a variable called xtrain and x underscore test. And so let's see, we have x underscore test, we have xtrain. Let's do y underscore train and y underscore test. All right, so let's set this equal to train underscore test underscore split, and then let's input our data set. So that's x and y, and then give it a test size. Okay, so we're gonna give it a test size equal to 0.2. All right, or 20%. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this, and let's create a new cell. All right, so now in this cell, I'm going to create the model. So let's go ahead and do that. So from sklearn dot ensemble, I'm going to import random forest classifier. Okay. All right, so let's create a variable called forest and set it equal to random forest classifier. We're going to give it a number of estimators. So the number of estimators will be equal to, we'll do 1 for now. The criterion will be equal to entropy. And then the random state will be 1. All right, now let's train the model. So type forest.fit and put in our training data set. So that's x underscore train and y underscore train. Okay, so let's run this. All right, so it's done. Let's create a new cell. And now let's see how well the model did on the test data by getting the score. So just type forest.score and then input x underscore test and y underscore test, and let's run this. Okay, so about 75%. And let's create a new cell. That's not bad. Okay, so let's take a look at the model's predictions and then the actual values. All right, so I'm gonna create a variable called forest underscore predictions. I'm gonna set this equal to forest dot predict. We're going to input x underscore test And let's just highlight that, copy using Control C, and then paste it here using Control V to show it. So let's run this, and then let's show the actual values. So I'll put some comments here. I'll put predicted values, or model's predicted value, and then the actual values. All right, so that's going to be y underscore test. So let's run this. Okay, we can see that I got it right here. I got it right here. It looks like it was right all the way up to, now I need to count these zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks like it got it wrong here, here, or here, 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 and then here. And then I lost count, but I think you all got the idea. Okay. So that's not bad, but of course this is just a small data set. So this model looks promising. However, a lot more testing definitely needs to be done before trying to use a model like this in the real world. Well, that's the end of the video. To start an investment portfolio of your own, you can click on the link below in the description and get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,850 on Webull when you deposit $100 or more on their platform. And of course, you can trade cryptocurrencies. If you liked this video, then consider becoming a supporter on Patreon. Or if you just want to get the data set and the code, then of course I will leave a link for you to my Patreon page in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I hope you all have a awesome, fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video.